about. Never do it again.
Good morning, everybody. Excuse my hot mess self. Had a long night last night, long day yesterday, and I am covered in some sort of poison ivy, poison sumac, something. But my life today is about Litha, which is Tuesday the 21st. Litha, otherwise known as Midsummer. It is the longest day and the shortest night of the year. The goddess is now fully pregnant, and the sun god is at the height of his virility. This is the peak of the solar year, and the sun is at the height of its life-giving power. The earth is full of fertility and fulfillment, and this is a time of joy and celebration of expansiveness and the celebration of achievements. Within this climax is the whisper and promise of a return of the dark as the light reaches its peak. So this is also the moment when the power of the sun begins to wane. From now on, days grow shorter and the night grows longer, and we are drawn back into the dark to complete the wheel of the year, which is at Samhain. At this time, the god, otherwise known as the Oak King, is rich in abundance, but he too surrenders his reign to his twin brother, the Holly King, and the descent begins. But before we welcome the return of the dark side of the year and acknowledge this great turning point of the wheel of the year, we celebrate Litha. Definitely take advantage of the extra hours of daylight and spend as much time outdoors as you possibly can. I know I long for this time of year. It's hot as hell, but I enjoy every bit of the heat. Everything except for the poison ivy aspect. My cat had babies outside, and she hid them in this area that I was not aware had poison ivy, because there were leaves of 3, but they weren't shiny, so we didn't think that they were any type of poison-esque stuff. But needless to say, I am covered, both of my arms, in poison ivy of some sort. So traditions and symbols of midsummer, depending on your individual spiritual path, there are many different ways you can celebrate Litha, but the focus is nearly always on celebrating the power of the sun. It's the time of year when the crops are growing heartily and the earth has warmed up. We can spend long sunny afternoons enjoying the outdoors and getting back to nature under the long daylight hours. Bonfires. Bonfires are a traditional symbol of Litha. People traditionally stayed up all night on Midsummer's Eve to welcome and watch the sunrise. Bonfires were lit on tops of hills, by holy wells, at places held sacred to honor the fullness of the sun. At Litha, the bonfire really represents a reflection of the sun at the peak of its strength. The chosen wood would often be oak and aromatic herbs. Hi, Monica. Aromatic herbs were scattered into the fire. People danced around the fires and leaped through them. Blazing herbs from the sacred bonfire were used to bless the animals. Blazing torches were carried sunwise around homes and fields. Coals from the midsummer fire were scattered on fields to ensure a good harvest. Another symbol is the oak tree. The tree worship has always played a large role in midsummer festivities, and trees near wells and fountains were decorated with colored cloths. The Oak King, who has ruled the waxing of the year, represents strength, courage, and endurance, and the oak has always been particularly significant at Litha. The Celtic name for oak is Dur, D-U-I-R, which means doorway. We are crossing the threshold, entering the doorway into the second waning part of the year. And you wouldn't think it, but mistletoe is also a symbol of midsummer. It was highly revered by the Druids. It's regarded as particularly potent when it grows on oak, the noblest of trees growing between the worlds of heaven and earth. Although it is more commonly associated with Yule and the winter solstice, it is often gathered ceremonially at midsummer when it is regarded as being at the height of its power. Some herbs. All herbs are reaching their peak at this time of year and thus the fullness of their healing and nurturing potency. Giving a bunch of herbs as a midsummer day gift is wonderful. I have a ritual planned. It's after Litha, but my coven and I will be doing the ritual on the 25th, and that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, is throwing a bunch of herbs into the fire. It's one of my favorite things to do. I even do it when I'm not having a ritual. I like to throw some herbs in the fire with some intent to carry that out to the universe. Flowers. All the flower kingdom is reaching its peak, wide open, full of color, surrendering their perfume. Honey is also another symbol. Our lovely bees are now making honey. Midsummer full moon is known as the honeymoon, for the mead made from the honey is now available. This is often part of hand fastings performed at the summer solstice. Mead is regarded as the divine solar drink with magical and life-restoring properties. Drink to celebrate and toast the life-giving abundance of the sun. I don't drink mead, I drink wine. Colors of midsummer. The natural world is full of color at this time. Blue for the sky, green for the grass, yellow for the sun, orange, red, purple to honor all the blooming flowers, or the colors of the four elements: red, blue, green, and yellow. Red for fire, blue for water, green for earth, and yellow for air. Also the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. North is green, south is red, west is blue, east is yellow. Some ideas for your altar would be oak leaves, more oak leaves. All the abundance of all the herbs, flowers, and grasses that are available at this time. Candles in the colors of the sun: orange, red, green, yellow, orange, red, and yellow colors of the sun. This is a shrine to honor the sun, and also sunflowers. Hand fasting season is also here. Midsummer is a great time to do hand fastings. June is a traditional time for weddings, but if you're pagan or Wiccan, a hand fasting ceremony may be more appropriate. You want to, when you do a hand fasting, you want to make sure that the person who is performing the hand fasting is properly registered to do so. And plan it out just as you would a wedding. Just instead of having a Christian minister exchange your vows, you're having a high priestess do that for you. That's actually something, as a high priestess myself, I will be getting that taken care of as well, so I am able to perform hand fasting. So I'm super excited about that. In a historical context, hand fasting is an old tradition that has seen a resurgence in popularity lately. There are plenty of ways to have a magical ceremony that celebrates your spirituality as part of your special day. You may even want to invite some of the deities of love and marriage to be a part of your ceremony. If you're not sure about how to have a hand fasting, make sure you've got someone who is legally able to perform it. Especially if you're looking for a state licensed marriage. You can use a basic hand fasting ceremony template as a structure for your ceremony, and you might want to consider a pagan friendly custom like broom jumping as part of your ceremony. So some symbols of Litha. Colors are blue, green, yellow, pink, purple, gold, orange, red, and white. Some foods associated with Litha: honey, elderberry, strawberry, fennel, thyme, fresh greens, mead, light wines, cheese, foods with cinnamon, grapes, lemons, oranges, peaches, pears, pine nuts, pumpernickel bread, spinach, summer squash, sunflower seeds, and sun-dried tomatoes. Honey cakes are a big one. Herbed bread is a big one. I'm excited for our ceremony because all of our, well, should I say ritual? I am doing a ritual to the Fae to celebrate the Fae and honor the Fae because midsummer is the Fae's season. And as you all know, I work with the Fae, so I am incorporating them into a ritual for Litha, and we will be celebrating the Fae on the 25th of this month. And all of the foods that we will be having for the ritual are going to be all themed for Litha. I'm super excited because this is my actual first group ritual. I always did something on my own to honor Litha at my altar, but I'm going to build a temporary outdoor altar, cast a circle, have coven members here to help with the casting and just have a really good time. So I'm excited about that. Some drinks associated with Litha. As I mentioned before, mead and light wines, ale, lemonade, milk for the Fae, mint tea and sun tea, lavender tea, lemon tea, honey in your tea, green tea. Those are the ones off the top of my head that I can think of. Stones, crystals associated with Litha. Peridot, diamond, emeralds, lapis lazuli, carnelian, citrine, and tiger eye. Carnelian is one of those ones associated as well as citrine because they closely resemble the sun. Some animals, totems, mythical creatures, being that it is summertime. Bees are a big one. Bulls, butterflies, cows, hawks, eagles, horses, and birds. Symbols, as I mentioned earlier, big one being the bonfire. So my big fat cat Thanos is not happy about the kitty that had her babies. He's quite jealous of her. We brought her and the babies in last night because it's a little chilly outside. Got a little chilly outside last night. And my two inside cats are not a fan. They keep hissing at them. But them babies are absolutely adorable. The symbols. Bonfire, sun wheels, flowers, cauldrons, fae, roses, sacred wells, spinning wheels, spirals, and the wand. Some flowers, trees, plants, and herbs. As we mentioned before, oak and mistletoe, elderflower, lavender, pine, fern, rose, cinnamon, foxglove, mugwort, rosemary, St. John's wort, vervain, yarrow, hazel, rowan, chamomile, daisy, heather, marigold, meadowsweet, and willow. My Litha ritual will be held underneath my willow tree in my backyard. And that's another thing that I'm excited about is honoring my tree back there, given the fact that the Fae have helped to keep my tree alive. So it's a perfect little setup back there for this ritual. So deities associated would be Aphrodite, Artemis, Astarte, Athena, Aurora, Bast, however you pronounce it, Brigid, Saradwin, Epona, Freya, Gaia, Ishtar, Hathor, Hera, Hestia, Helios, Lu, Holly King, Lug, Sekhmet, Sol, Ra, Sol is the sun god, Ra, Zeus, Thor, Yamaya, and Vishnu. Spiritual focus would be abundance, cleansing, creativity, divination, fertility, fire, growth, healing, inspiration, love, motherhood, opportunity, power, success, sun god energy, and warmth. So magical focus is abundance, empowerment, energy, fertility, growth, health, increase, light, love, motherhood. I think it's absolutely perfect the fact that my cat had her babies so close to Litha. Her name is Athena at that. And this is the second litter that she has had. Her first litter died. And this litter, we kind of had our minds made up that my husband rescued her at about 2 to 3 weeks old. So she wasn't raised by a cat. She was raised by humans, and she didn't have the cat instincts that all cats have to be a mother. So her first litter died, and when she got pregnant this time, which she's getting fixed as soon as she's done nursing, we're getting her fixed so we don't have to stress about whether or not any further litters would survive. But she had 5 babies. They are all healthy. They're all doing great. And I had prayed to Freya. I did a little ritual with Freya, my other goddess, to help her along with her being pregnant and becoming a mother. My husband and I both wanted this, not just for her, but for ourselves also. My husband is a fan of, he's never had little baby kittens. So having these babies makes him extremely happy. The look on his face, it's pure love. Every time he looks at Athena and them babies, it's pure love. And I love to see that look on his face. So I think it was meant to be for her to have them so close to Litha. Her name being Athena. Freya is a deity associated with Litha, so I think it all worked out in my favor, and I thank Freya for that very much. Some acts of service that you could do in honor of Litha would be to give money or time to a solar energy project, plant trees, always, always, always plant trees, volunteer at food kitchens and shelters, volunteer at an animal shelter, and pick up litter in your community and recycle. Every single Sabbath, that's one of the things that I suggest, is helping to clean up your community, whether it be litter, picking up plastic bottles or something that's around the community. Donate your time to shelters, animal shelters, homeless shelters, food kitchens, stuff like that. Always find ways of giving back to the community at these Sabbats if you're able to. Even if you can donate some of the canned goods that you don't use, donate them to some food kitchens. That's still a selfless act of service to the community that are less fortunate can benefit from. So I'm going to end with book suggestions and a few ways to celebrate Litha. I am obviously doing a ritual. I am honoring the Fae and honoring my old wise willow tree. You can make floral wreaths for your front door, host a bonfire and potluck for family and friends, aka a Litha ritual, gather and dry herbs. That's awesome, Monica. I'm happy to hear that. We have a whole bunch of trails and parks around this area, and anytime my husband and I go for walks on these trails or even just around town, I will take a plastic bag or two with me and pick up the litter that I find around. I'm given the drug epidemic right now. I am very cautious when walking in parks. I'm always looking for drug paraphernalia and needles, stuff like that, to help get them off of the streets. And so no little ones are, running into something like that at the local parks around. So that's where I focus most of my efforts on, is the parks that children play at. But I'm very happy to hear that. You can gather and dry herbs to use throughout the coming year. My herb garden is growing very well, I'm happy to say. First time growing dill and cilantro, and they are flourishing very well. I also have mint and rosemary. My thyme didn't seem to take off this year, but the rest of my herbs have, and I'm very happy about that. Take time to meditate and give thanks for the blessings you have in your life, just as you would at Mabon, same type of thing. You should do that on a daily basis, as a matter of fact. meditate, give thanks for what you have, what's yet to come. Just honor the day. Create an invisibility amulet from seeds of ferns gathered on Midsummer Eve. Build a fairy house in the woods to invite their goodwill into your life. I have my fairy garden out in the front of my house. Once I get my area around my willow tree completely done, we're going to dig it up and put some fill dirt and sod in there. And I plan on having my fairy garden raised at different levels all around my willow tree out there. My landlord keeps trying to talk me into cutting down my willow tree because half of it, before we moved in, a large portion of it, he said, was down in the yard. I'm guessing either maybe a storm may have hit the tree. I don't see any burn marks where lightning may have hit it, but half the tree is gone. I do still have a good portion of the tree, and I absolutely refuse to cut it down. My landlord keeps trying to get me to, but my husband and I are actually this close, see that close, to being approved for a loan to buy our house. So we're actually really excited about that. We just need to get the things in order to be able to do so. But now I have to figure out how to get my car fixed. Whole other story, different time. Not going to talk about that because I'm going canoeing on the river all day today with my in-laws and my husband to celebrate Father's Day and just enjoy nature. So I'm excited about that too. You can bid farewell to the waxing half of the year by celebrating the sun and welcoming the waning part of the year. Connect with the earth and growing things, honoring the pregnant goddess and the god at their peaks, and then weddings and hand fastings. Do your picnics, your cookouts, spend time with your families, your typical summer stuff. I have 4 books here, as always, the Sabbat series. I definitely suggest these. If you celebrate your Sabbats, you should have these books. I love these books. So the Litha one is labeled as Midsummer. It's not labeled as Litha. It's Midsummer. And then every year, I personally feel like every witch should have these. If you honor the Sabbats, get your Sabbat almanac. There's rituals, recipes, crafts, pagan lore, and planetary guidance throughout this. There's rituals for groups and for individuals. There's folklore and customs. Like I had mentioned, creative low-cost arts and crafts. Quick and easy recipes for appetizers, entrees, beverages, and desserts. So this is definitely a good suggestion. I have this one as well. I don't know what happened there. Must have gotten wet. Year of the Witch, connecting with the nature seasons through intuitive magic. This is another one that has all of the Sabbats listed in there and then some. I find this one to be, I use this in conjunction with my, I use all 4 of these books at every Sabbat to go through and figure out what I want to do to honor the Sabbat. And then last but not least, I have Seasons of Wicca, the essential guide to rituals and rites to enhance your spiritual journey. This one has also all of the Sabbats included inside of there, different ways to celebrate and honor the Sabbats. So that's what I have for you guys. I will post some stuff in the guide, little pictorials from Pinterest on different ways to celebrate Litha and honor Litha, different things associated with Litha. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Today's the last day. Well, it's actually starting your work week. What are you doing?
Going to get Athena some wet food.
Okay. It should say safe for good for pregnant or nursing moms on it. But I wish all of your significant others, your fathers, a very happy Father's Day. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of what's left of your weekend. Enjoy some time with your families, and you're welcome, ladies. And I hope all of you find one way or another to honor or celebrate Litha in some form or another. So that's all I have for you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Blessed be.